Welcome back, guys. So let's continue on with my Texas Chainsaw Massacre film reviews, and I have reviewed every single Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie with Derek from Derek's Horror Corner to this final Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that they have released in 2017 called Leatherface. No, it's not Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 Leatherface. It's Leatherface from 2017, which is a prequel to the original movie. And it fits to a timeline to where it's Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre the original, and Texas Chainsaw 3D. That's got the same continuity as those other two movies, so it makes a trilogy of sorts. But before I talk about Leatherface myself, let's have Derek from Derek's Horror Corner do his collab, and I'm going to have a video on his like I did on every other video, so check his channel out and his videos out. Go ahead, Derek.
Hey, this is Derek from Derek's Horror Corner, and I'll be doing another collab with Corey from CDR in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. So we're finally on the last movie. We'll be reviewing the 2017 Leatherface prequel, and this was my second time ever watching this movie, and I just want to say I was really impressed on this movie. I think I liked it even more than I did the first time, and I liked it a lot. Now, what I like about this movie is I like in terms of the story, they don't try to copy the original, because I feel like they, like so many movies, like Part 3 and Part 4 and others, have tried to copy what the original did. I like how this one's more of like a four escaped convicts are on like the road and they're trying to avoid the police. So I like that it's kind of got a unique story compared to the other one. I love the tone too. I love the dark, serious, depressing, hopeless tone. I feel like they tried to recapture the tone of the original, and they did a really good job with that. So I love like the atmosphere and the tone of the movie. I love the story. The characters are awesome. You got some really brutal, intimidating characters like Verna and then Ike and or Isaac or whatever, and Clarice. But then you got some really likable characters like Jackson, Bud, and the nurse. So I love all the characters in this movie as well. There's a high body count. There's tons of gore. You have like a decapitation. You have like a chainsaw kill. You have like somebody's face getting smashed against the window. You have like a gunshot to the head. That epic diner massacre scene where several characters die. You have a necrophilia scene. You have all kinds of weird and brutal scenes in this movie. So I love the gore as well. I really like the ending of this movie too. I like that even though the ending was kind of predictable on who Leatherface was going to be, I did love like the dark ending, kind of like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning where everybody dies. The nurse is such a nice, likable character and she does all the things right, but she still dies at the end, and I love that brutal, depressing ending. That was one of the things I really loved about Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning as well, so I loved the dark ending there. So just kind of overall, I really liked everything about this movie, and I don't have any complaints, and when I rank it, it's going to be pretty high. So come on over to my channel and check out my review of this movie. Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much, Derek. Now let's talk about Leatherface 2017, the prequel to the original movie. Set in 1955 and then set in 1965. Now this has a pretty creepy opening and kill where like Jed is like a little kid, and like Verna, who's played by Lily Taylor, is the mother. She has Jed, like, who's scared of doing this. She forces Jed to chainsaw this guy tortured up who they think is stealing their pigs. And honestly, that is a really effective, awesome opening. I really thought the opening to this was really cool. And there was a really great opening as well in the opening where they kill this teenager by having this heavy object smash her because she falls into a hole. And it's actually really cool. Like, you don't see much, but it's got a cool effect. And the gore in this is actually really good. Like, it's one of the better in terms of gore in the franchise. And now this one, because it is a prequel, even though it's only connected to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, and then Texas Chainsaw 3D, it still has all these references to the franchise as a whole. So that's really interesting and really cool the way that they did that. Like, Drayton Sawyer, young Drayton Sawyer, is literally Matthew McConaughey's character from Texas Chainsaw the Massacre: The Next Generation, which his name was Wilmer in that movie, but in this character who plays young Drayton Sawyer, this actor plays it just like Matthew McConaughey, and it's really really jarring at how similar this character is to him. And it's not the same name of the character, it's not the same character, but it's got an acting similarity. Like, this guy is over the top and silly, but it reminded me of McConaughey. So much so that it felt like they were trying to just replicate it, which was cool because I like McConaughey in Next Generation. And just how that guy looks and acts, he felt so much like Wilmer from like that movie, from Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. And then the characters Barry Farnsworth and Verna make a appearance as younger characters in this that were in Texas Chainsaw 3D, where Verna was the character at the end of Texas Chainsaw 3D who Marilyn Burns, who played Sally in the original, portrays in the end of that movie. And in this one, Barry Farnsworth, who was in the other movie, Texas Chainsaw 3D, in this one he's a younger guy who helps Verna out. And I thought that was actually a cool continuity connection, that like both of those characters are in this and that. Like, it's actually really funny. Like, just it's cool showing that these characters, even though I don't like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, I like that they really did in this movie. They paid almost, I think, besides the second movie, I feel like this is the only other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie besides the original that feels like it truly connects to at least one of the other Texas Chainsaw movies, because the first two feel connected, and then in the third one and the fourth one, they're so disconnected. It's just Leatherface and a new family in every movie in 3 and 4. And then this one connects very carefully to Texas Chainsaw 3D and the original, that I like how the continuity works in this movie very well. Even though, again, I don't like 3D, but I like how they connect these characters. That's pretty cool. And there's also a cop character that Stephen Dorff plays, who's good in the movie. He's really cool. And he is basically Lefty from Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. He has a vendetta against the Sawyer family because they killed his daughter. So it's like how Lefty's how Lefty's nephew was killed, how Franklin was killed in the second one. So it's literally the same. I like that they do that. I like that they have, because they're not connected to all these other movies, so I like that they did those little nods. That's really cool. And I thought, in terms of like actors, I thought the actors were all pretty good. Like, they were all pretty solid. Lily Taylor actually is really good. Like, she is not in the movie much, but she's actually really intimidating and creepy and just trashy. And I do like her character, and how this Verna character just wants everything in her power just to get her son back, and like, she even marries into a rich family. Like, she tries her hardest just to get this kid out of this mental institution, because the cop, who's, I guess, corrupt again, like from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, there's another corrupt cop who puts these two crazy kids in an institution. Why does he look like a bad guy again? They did that again, where like the cop who puts him away, it looks like he's the bad guy, but it's like, they're fucking cannibals and killers. Why would you think that it's the different? Like, seriously, I don't get why they do that again in this, but it's not as fucking annoying and horrible as like Texas Chainsaw 3D was. And so I liked all the performances. The only person I can name is Lily Taylor, like, and I could also name Stephen Dorff and Finn Jones, the Iron Fist. He was in this as well, right before Iron Fist came out. That's really funny seeing him in this. And he's okay, he's fine. He's not like the best, but this character's alright. He's just kind of there to be there. Like, it's kind of like how in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, Scott Eastwood was like the cop's lackey, and this one kind of feels like that too, or Finn Jones is the cop's lackey this time. So he's fine. He's just okay. He's average. Now, there's this twist at the end where, like, even though I saw it coming, I do like the idea of, like, they never mention, because the brothers are in the institution after 10 years after the beginning of the movie where they kill the girl. And they break out. And there's two guys. There's one guy who looks just like Leatherface does in the original, but younger, a big, frumpy guy. And then there's a handsome-looking guy that looks normal and acts normal. but then they do the twist of like the frumpy guy gets shot and killed, and you think, wait, they just killed off Leatherface because he looks just like Leatherface. But then they do that twist where the regular guy, regular normal looking guy, Jackson, after Bud gets killed, Jackson is the one who's actually Jed, and it makes sense because Jackson and Jed. It's just he named himself differently, but with a J. So I thought that was a really cool twist, even though it's an obvious twist. But I did enjoy that. That's pretty cool. Like it just kind of blew your, like it blew like a different thought of like, oh, this is not how it's gonna go. And I just liked how they did something in this type of movie like that. I just thought that was kind of a cool way to like to have a little twist in it, even though you know what the twist is. So again, like the guy who gets shot looks just like the original Leatherface, like Gunnar Hansen, and then the normal looking guy is actually Leatherface. So I thought that was a pretty cool twist. And besides that, like it's totally fine. Like it's not like the best Texas Chainsaw by far. I think that, and I don't want to rank them because I want to save it for my ranking video, but I really love the first two, and then after that I've got a couple more, and then this one's probably in the middle in terms of ranking. Like I don't think it's definitely not as bad as 3D or even Part 3. I don't know where to rank it, but I think that this is a solid Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. It's got good gore, it's got fine characters, it's got good acting. It's just not super memorable, and it's got some stupid things about it, like the cop thing again. The cop thing is in there, and these characters who run away with like Bud and Jackson, these other inmates, are annoying and kind of dumb. But overall, this one was still a fun time, and I still enjoyed it. It's just not like one that I'll rewatch much, but it's not a bad one. It's just an okay one. And I'm really excited to say that because a lot of people hate this movie, and I guess I can get it. I guess I get it, but I also don't get it because I thought that this was competent after watching 3D, which was god awful, in my opinion. So overall, this one was fun. I enjoyed it. So thank you, Derek, for collabing with me again. Thank you guys so much for watching all of these Texas Chainsaw Massacre reviews that I've done with Derek from Derek's Horror Corner, and I will do a ranking video as well sometime soon. And thank you guys so much for watching.